not my favorite thing.
To be on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like, make sure you know.
but I don't even pay attention anymore. All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting back to order. The Board of County Commissioners are back in session. And our first item of business is Board of Community Guardians. Please introduce yourself and then just kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on and your desires for funding.
Yeah, so I'm Jessica. I'm the chair of the Bannock County Board of Community Guardians.
Deanna Rosen, I'm secretary for Community Guardians.
And so this is our annual request for funds. It's my first time doing this, so
So you turn it to me.
I guess I'm requesting a support.
You got the email. Yeah, you got the email I sent. We're required to also give you an annual report of the Board of Guardians. So I kind of did it all inclusive in this email. Hopefully that's working for you. With the number of people that we take care of, which honestly right now is a lot more than we have had in a long, long time.
Mhm.
I think we have 18 people right now, and another one coming, and but luckily we also have almost a full board, so that's a good thing. Our funds that we request, I did send you the checking account to show the money that we have accumulated over the years. Many years we didn't have to pay guardian ad litem or court visitor fees for the people we took on, but the last few years that's become something that's almost the norm. Once in a while we're able to recoup it from their funds, but not always and not all of it. And so going forward, we feel like those funds have really accumulated into big numbers, and I think ridiculous numbers almost. I think we've got 17,000 in our bank, but it's accumulated because we didn't have those expenses in the past that we now, every case we take on, we have anywhere from probably $500 to $700 in those two fees, and that's going to add up. That's going to go pretty quick if we have to start paying that on everyone. So that's the reason that we have left our request the same as far as what covers our meetings. The $2,500 a year is what we have been funded by the county for our meeting budget every year. The other thing that we have had is we have had a $6,000 budget to pay for a secretary, which is me, which is going to be terminating here shortly, whether I want to or not. So it's going to require replacing me, getting somebody to do the work that I have been doing. I've done it for $500 a month for several years. The last 2 years I've requested $100 a month raise and was turned down, and that's okay because I enjoyed serving too, but I feel like, I don't know that you can, I was on the board for many years and learned the whole board process through being a member, serving on the board, but now we're looking at a point of having to probably bring somebody in. Jessica and I visited and don't feel like there's probably a member of the board who has been on long enough that would have the ability to do the paperwork that I have done. That's not to diminish anybody, but you have to have some computer skills, and yeah. So anyway, I have, in the past, I have given you a list of the different things the secretary does, and I do all of the court reporting, do all of the visits to Social Security, keep up on all of the annual reports on SSI money, take care of getting all the paperwork together for Brian to get new cases for us, help the commissioner or the chairperson make sure the meetings are ready by sending out the notices, which now has been more work too than it has been in the past, just because of the new meeting laws that we're under. And then I keep minutes of the meeting, manage, keep the checking account balanced. What else do I do? I don't know. Anyway, so I have put in here a proposal for secretary at $9,000, which is $750 a month. I don't know, that's probably can be negotiated, but I feel like because of the numbers of people we're getting now and the extra work that there is in those cases that we didn't used to have, I think it's worth every bit of that. And I personally would not probably be willing to continue doing it at $500 a month, except for, like I say, my association. I just love the board and I love being a part, and I was really in hopes that I could stay on for quite a bit longer, but I'm finding that my hours are minimal every day that I can do this kind of stuff. So Jessica pointed out to me that I put in there $9 million, and I think that's an awesome thing. And if you want to give the rest to me, I'd be happy.
A comma instead of a
Comma instead of a period.
On the very last, third to last
I'll
line.
leave it to me.
Some of us are willing to resign and take that position.
I would too.
$9 million.
Yeah, no kidding.
Might be a fight for it.
No.
And I don't know what other possibilities you might think of. I've thought of having, the possibility of just somebody at the courthouse taking all of that over. I don't know, but I do have, and I guess this is my proposition to you, is that I have a son who is willing to do it. I've talked to him about it. He's actually even come and done a couple of court reports with me, so he knows what it is they would be getting into. The reason I am pushing that way is not because there's not 100 people that probably couldn't do this job, but because my training is going to be very limited, and I can do it in my home, and he can come at different times of the day when I feel like I can work with him, and he can come for 30 minutes or 45 minutes and not be wasting his time, because he likes to come and see his mom anyway. So I would be willing to train him to take this over. He works at Simplots. He's actually in management out there. He's a company person. Has no problem getting the time off. Simplot's very supportive of any kind of organizations like this, so he wouldn't have trouble being at the meetings and taking the time off that he needs to run to Social Security and things like that, because he has a flexible position out there. So that was my proposition, and that is the reason. It's not because well, and I won't say he's not qualified for the job, because he does a lot of computer, a lot of Excel and Microsoft Word work at his job, and he's really familiar with those programs, which is what I use. Talked a little bit about the fact that everything is on my computer, and I recognize that I need to zip drive some of that off, have a copy here at the county probably, and a copy with Jessica, because if something were to happen to me overnight, it would be a little scary for anybody to try and find it. Ray wouldn't even have any idea how to get into it, but that's something that I would definitely take care of, making sure that the proper people or more people have access to what we're doing all the time, because I've just kind of done it, and I haven't made that extra initiative, I guess, to.
So along that line, what I would really like to do is the board to give us a suggestion of who to put in that position. And then we'll meet as a Board of County Commissioners and go through kind of a hiring process to decide, because they end up being a contractor with the county.
Right.
And so it's something that this board would have to approve and agree on.
Exactly.
The tough part about it is we're in the middle of a budget year, and to jump salaries in the middle of a budget year is very, very challenging. And so we would have to have a discussion about that with Jason and see if we could identify funds. I mean, if there's $17,000 in the checking account, I mean, I'm not saying no, but to follow the processes, that's what we would need to do.
And I would probably think that was a wise decision, is to take some of that increase, particularly out of our funds.
But see, just like you just asked, you're asking for $3,000 more next year.
2,500, yeah.
I thought it was 3,000, but
Yeah.
give me
250 per month.
85.
Pardon?
$250 per month extra.
Well,
the 3,000, 250
Yeah.
per month extra, for the secretary.
3,000 more is what you've asked for in this year's budget.
Right.
And so, like everybody else that we've talked to, we've says, well, we're not promising anything. We're not trying to cut anybody's budget, but we're not promising to give anybody extra in their budgets too. So giving an increase in salaries means that automatically we change next year's budget. So it's one of them deals that,
And maybe we could eliminate the $2,500 that we're asking for as a board, and
I was
then it's
going
only
to ask you about that
$500
actually,
difference.
because you said you built up all these, the funds
These
are continue to
funds.
build up at the moment. So would you really need the 2,500 then?
At
Because
the
that would be an
moment-
obvious solution,
At
I
the
think.
moment, no,
Yeah.
you know, in
And of
2
course, you
years
can always
from now,
revisit
maybe,
things if
but
things
yeah,
change. Yeah.
At the very moment, do you agree? I'm
At the very
talking
moment,
here,
but
Jessica.
like, depending on how many cases we bring on, like if each one of those costs $700, if we don't recoup that from our, from the individuals, because they do have limited funds.
This $700 cost, this is new.
The
Yes,
last few years.
Oh, the last few
It
years.
used to be covered by a fund that the state of Idaho gave to adult protection. And the people who did the court visitor and the guardian ad litem did it almost pro bono, but it was a state-funded thing that adult protection took care of it. We never even were in the middle of it at all. We never got billed for anything. And then all of a sudden, their funding ended. And so it's got to be paid
So
by somebody.
who are you paying?
We're paying,
For the-
Aegis is the court report. and that
I'm
her
sorry?
name- Aegis, AEGIS, her name is.
For the court reporter,
Court
and then for
And then
the,
the guardian ad litem right now, it's been Angela Jensen. We've worked with her for years.
I meant the organization or department.
Yeah.
And now it's Craig Parrish, who's
Right,
the attorney
okay.
that's doing the guardian ad litem work.
Okay.
Because Angela just felt like she was overworked.
Gotcha.
She couldn't do it.
so that's why we
Attorneys and
ask for
reporters.
those funds.
No.
that's who's getting the funds.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I don't know these people.
Did I make it? Okay, yeah.
So that's kind of where we'll be at with
Yep.
that.
Okay.
But, and then just a word of caution. The paperwork that you sent us has everybody on the Guardian's
of
addresses and everything
information.
else, which becomes public record once it comes across this desk.
Okay.
And then it has all of your wards'
Which
names
is
on it.
public record.
So let's give us numbers, not names.
Not do that anymore? Okay.
That's information that doesn't need to be out to the
Okay.
general public. So I
Okay,
just, I'm like I say,
absolutely.
it's kind of new to
Try to
everybody a
be
little bit.
thorough, you know, and.
Right.
Yeah, I just caution people when it comes across
okay.
this
It's hard when
desk,
it's
that
public
it
record.
becomes
Sure.
part,
Can I ask you a question really quick?
Yes.
So you had mentioned about the secretary position taking your spot. That are there counties where there is a county employee that does that for the Board of Guardians?
I
Do you know?
can't tell you for sure. I know some counties are actually run totally within the county office. The whole Board of Guardians is in like the indigent office people.
Mhm.
They don't even have volunteers like our county has.
'Cause I think we have a county employee that would be interested in doing it. Our indigent office is filling in over there. So, I mean, that's something we could talk about too.
and John's actually talked about that a little bit himself, so we
Mhm.
needed to get together and have
Yeah.
a conversation. But,
And that's absolutely fine.
Mhm.
The only thing I have to say to you is I can't be coming in and out of the courthouse, so it would be giving her a zip drive and a box of files, and because I just really, I physically cannot
Right.
be in and out
Yeah.
training somebody.
And-
So that would be.
Well,
other than that,
they'll talk about all
absolutely.
options,
Sure.
and
Okay.
I just wondered if that was something that was more standard or not, but.
Yeah, I don't know. And in fact, I don't know if, for years and years, we didn't have a secretary position on the board. Everybody took care of all the court reports and everything themselves as
Oh.
people who were assigned to the different individuals. The problem we ran into is they weren't getting done.
Accountability.
They were not getting done, and they
Yeah.
weren't getting done proper. It took me 2 years of court reports to get everything balanced back out and get them, because people are good at taking care of people, but they might not be good at bookkeeping, okay? You know?
Yeah, right.
Well, and it
so-
also, it's kind of a checks and balances, so that make sure that we, as a board, are not taking
Exactly.
advantage of these vulnerable people that we're supposed to be taking
Well,
care
Right,
of.
yeah.
And like I told you outside, I love this board.
Yeah.
They stole my heart,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna go backwards.
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
telling you that. And as we have this discussion, the person that is gonna take your place will be very capable.
Okay,
I promise you that.
okay. Yep.
Okay, you take that off your worrying.
Yes.
Okay?
And I would be happy to give you my son's name and information if you would like that.
And
And
we'll do that off the record.
Okay,
And so that.
okay. All right.
That's, like I say, that's just like a contract or job interview that we can
Absolutely.
have an executive session and talk off the record about
Okay.
some of these things.
So how do
In fact,
how do I go about doing that?
Stop down and talk to Christy
Just give it to Christy.
and give to
her
Christy, give her the
Okay.
information, and we can make contact.
Okay, perfect. And then decide from there. And again, like I mentioned to you the last time we came in here, is urgency. I honestly don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to function like a human. So,
Well, I told you, we love you.
Yeah.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all that you've done
Yeah.
and for all that you continue to do.
we'll keep working it.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Like Mia.
Hello.
Hello. Please introduce yourself and your organization.
Me, Kate Kennedy, the first CEO for Bannock Development Corporation.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So we're here to have you give us your request and also tell us what's going on a little bit.
Yeah, so we recently made some changes over at Bannock Development, so we aren't asking for an increase this year. We're going to continue on. Currently, our asks from you and other government entities basically just barely cover our salaries. And so we won't be having an increase in salary again this year, and we also don't have any benefits. So it's been pretty hard. I just got my benefit bill and my insurance went up to $1,047 a month with a $9,000 deductible. So I've actually just been paying cash for my medical, but I think it's time that I probably do get covered over that. But even in our budget, I found a way for us to deal with that. So we're okay there, and we appreciate that you guys support us. One of the things that's really encouraging about next year and the rest of this year is we got really lucky in working with the ISU intern program. And while people, a lot of people aren't interested in economic development, it's become one of the top needed degrees and focus of study is economics and economic development, because as we keep going, it's going to be super important. And we don't have a lot of experts coming out of colleges in those fields. So you are seeing a little bit of a change now where there's more programs being offered. And so we currently have an intern, and we're going to be offering her a full-time position. She's working full-time with us this summer. She's been with us for 2 years, which is very unusual. But I inspired her to really want to stay in economic development, so I feel really good about that. Mentorship has really helped, and that's really what that program's about. So we'll hopefully get another intern next year when she graduates in December, and we'll keep on with that program. We're actually going to do a little story on it. So that's super great, because those internships are made so that those kids graduate and get jobs here. And so I feel really proud that we're really a part of that. And we also have a lot of partners that we can introduce them to, the people that we have businesses coming and interviewing, and all of our contacts and clients. So they have a really good chance of being picked up by one of them because we can refer them. So it's just such a great program, and I love it. Some of the proposed changes that we're making at Bannock Development is we are working on, I say a C3 arm. Last year we thought of a C3 arm, but we might actually be changing our designation so that we can get more private investment. those private investment dollars would really help us, because as we take on bigger projects, such as the airport development and, places like Northgate, I showed properties in South County 7 times in the last quarter. So we're getting more and more activity in our projects, and in a year we have about 40 projects, but we have 5 top level projects that can continue into the next year. Along with
Do you have anybody interested in beachfront property? Income's pretty good right now.
well, I did actually drove down to Income several times this last month, so
I'm sorry.
I went to the Harkness Hotel and asked Aaron if I could move in and I could make one of those rooms a condo, because he did such a great job. So I just love it. So I've been spending more and more time down there, and I just really, I love the feel of it, and just the businesses that want to have more property or something along the interstate. It's becoming something that I kind of show routinely now, and we're trying to work with the property owners out there and do some things. So some of those people may come to you and ask for different things, but if you have any questions when those people do come out, I'm usually always on board with what's happening on the back end. So, but along with that, we're trying to do more private investment. Along with that, our costs have significantly increased because we have to keep much tighter security on our information. So we are changing over our security. As you know, I have an IT background, and we really need to increase the security on our NDAs and information that we have to keep private, especially on the federal level, working with the airport and with the FAA and any federal entity that is helping us do the development side. So there's a lot of information that we need to keep secure, and so we're increasing our costs there. It also costs us a lot more to do the facilitation. So each project takes at least 4 hours a day in a big highlighted project. And so if there's only 8 hours in the day and we're spending 4 hours on those, we need to be able to spend the rest of the hours. So those costs are increasingly going up. And we've thought of a way, if we do have a C3 or another designation, that we could actually have some billable hours to our clients, and our clients are actually willing to pay us some of those, like a percentage of what we're doing, because we bring so much help to them. We go from beginning to end with what they're trying to build and do. I was on call for Morton Buildings 24/7. I was their only contact, and we were able to get everything done in a year. So it's super important to have that person they can go to. I'm currently working on one expansion, a new facility out of California, and I'm working with Morton to work with one of them. We're also, this last month, we had several big, huge developers in all different industries, including aeronautics, fly their private plane out, and they took me in the private plane back to Seattle, and we discussed business. But they came and looked at our airport, gave me a lot of suggestions, and we have about 17 contacts that we're working with to help develop that airport and also align with the businesses that are out there. Peterson, as you know, does fabrication, and they're doing an amazing job. They do incredible stuff. They have a lot of government contracts. And then we also have Morton, who we want them to be steadily busy and keep up, and they're doing a great job as it is. But we have several clients that we would be working with them as well to use their services in their buildings. They have an array of buildings. If you are attending next Tuesday, we will be having a lunch with them at, I believe it starts at 12:30, so you're all invited. If you'd like to come, reach out to me. We'll be meeting with their president and their top level people coming. I've met all their people more than once. They're terrific. But if you would like to attend that lunch, just let me know and we'll put you on there.
Okay, Jeff and I are out of town. We supposed to
That's right, that's right.
send
But
a
I think
message, but-
maybe, John, you would like to go.
I thought I RSVP'd for it.
For the tour or the lunch?
Well, I thought I was going to end up doing both if I RSVP'd once.
Yeah, we're not actually in charge of the tour, but I'll put you on the
Maybe I
lunch.
RSVP'd the wrong person, but I'm planning to go.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll see you, so you're welcome to the lunch as well.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we are on everything, busy as usual. And so I've said this to the city and I've said to others while I was spending some time in Utah, their latest slogan is kind of survive till 25. Businesses aren't necessarily making a move right now, but we're all planning for businesses to come at 25. So I'm currently doing a lot of recruiting. I was on the road for 7 weeks straight doing nothing but recruiting. There's some tools that we still need to utilize on those recruits, but we're out there and businesses are looking at us fondly. So there's a lot of good news out there. I mean, it really feels like it's wide open right now.
So from last year's budget, are you asking for an increase from the?
No, we'll try to make it with what you give us now, which is $70,000.
Okay. And we're, well, go ahead, John, give your spiel.
So everybody comes in front of us, we're telling them the same thing. We're looking at keeping the budget flat, and this mainly has to do with the property tax issue. We hear from constituents constantly, property taxes, which of course is driven by spending. So our goal is to keep the budget flat with no increase in spending so that we can hopefully not continue to add to the burden of our tax-paying residents. And we're asking people to see if they can find various innovative ways to find other funds, transfer funds between maybe things that are nice but you don't need to things you do need, and so on.
Yeah, we understand. We've really, like I said, we haven't had any increases since I've been here, and it'll be my 3rd year. And I did not take any increases personally, and neither did my staff. In fact, we're going backwards. So we're doing as much as we can. And we are the only economic development arm for the entire area, which is a lot of work for us. So, I mean, if you each had your own department, it'd be over $1 million, and we're doing it for $140,000. So we really do try to save, and our job is to, not put burdens on the taxpayer. We're trying to raise the ships for them. So hopefully we can. Do you have any questions for me?
No, like I said, we're at the beginning of our discussions with everybody, and like John says, we're trying to hold the budget down as much as we can and asking people to do the same. And when we get everybody's together, that's when the serious talks will start. So,
I get it. Well, we appreciate you guys, and we appreciate working with you as well.
thank you very
So
much.
you're welcome, and if you do have any questions, as always, come and visit me.
You
So I'd
bet.
be glad to show you around.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Moser, I'm going to have to take 5 minutes, I'm sorry.
Okay, let's go to recess for just a minute.